Chapter Assessment, Obel. When Inequify heard something and turned around, then Daniel's bully followed around. Turning again, he saw Daniel with a hole in his forehead, blood gushing out. Then he felt a sharp pain in his left arm. Looking down, he saw blood coming out of his arm. Looking up, he saw a man with a sniper cylinder shooting at him. Quickly and with great force, he took out one of his metal stairs and threw it, hitting him in the middle of his skull. He fell dead. He looked down to see his bones. He looked up. Daniel said, "He did it, he did it." When he looked up at one knee, he just saw a vision. First a man nearby in some bushes. You will throw one stair in the bush. You need you to throw 4 more stairs 6 inches below where you throw. And I'm going to throw 4 more stairs because I'm surface standing up yelling, now. When he go. Sound as it turned, he threw a stair and heard an unfamiliar sound. Then Daniel threw 4 more stairs below where he threw, and he heard sound again. Then when he threw his 4 and heard a long, silent cry. Go quickly, and get the rest. When he pulled out the covered over he got from Jimmy and slowly walked towards the bushes. He saw a man unconscious, laying in his blood, barely breathing. Kicking the gun away from his body, making sure he was out, he placed his foot in one of his lungs and pressed down. It wasn't long before everyone was surrounding the area. When he the signal that everything was alright. Daniel. When he said, "You're always seconds from failing your request." He looked at Jim as he continued, "Wanted to get information out of this guy, Daniel. I need you to help him just enough to find out what he is, wait once, and wasn't him." Daniel held almost several bonds while Jimmy and Jonathan did man. Unseated, when he looked at him and told him, "How is it you track yes?" Said when he though. The man looked at his blood and asked, "What happening?" When he looked at him again and demanded, "How is it you track yes?" Sacking his head and bucking his face, he replied, "First a commentator in your possession, a balance to any work for Alta, Quebec, under Aku and." When he Buffen asked, "How is it wouldn't get at you?" The man replied, "Clocking the vis made by the hands, holding his worst pass yes I could get it. Like Fion on me worst." When he took it off and headed it to Alicia. "You go see what you can do with this, so we don't have any else sneaking upon us." Manson asked, "How did 5 men, 3 women, and a buckle of fastened ball framed in the cates?" Still seeing Daniel covered in blood in his vision, furious, when he said, "I'll ask the question, sir." Taking off his SCA, on the last question when he asked, "Where is the Sabaneta you work for?" The stranger said, "They don't know. He gives the orders, and they carrying him out, but there is a bounty in your head as well. It was just out to scout the area for survivors because the communicator was stolen. We were in sort of captain. But when he saw you to one side of the bounty." When he looked at him again, "Ya called a boy. Confess it," the man said, "Esther of her own. Beside stat on. For have called no one today, let alone a boy. Ye was aiming for you." When he furthered it was a vision, but effective. Wald told him made him furious, and he carried the man with his again. When he go. Child of Sabbath, Metabel, a great warrior of Sabbath. When he remembered his vision and of his face, dropped the city, turned, and walked away, saying, "We can inform him." Daniel held him because he is a man of Sabbath. Ob, still confused, asks, "Who's that man?" And that voice, called me child of Sabbath. Daniel did not say a word. Jonathan walked toward him, saying, "Lazy was the voice, effect, and that is when he flows in, a warrior for Sabbath. Where the folk Egypt, had we called over fastened couple." Before the call speak, Jonathan asked Ob, "And how is it that a believer of Sabbath, Wakatil that, works for an Ebene?" Obi said, "First, you work for the Inicates, and they work the Ebene, you will never see an Ebenians get their hands dirty. They will always have someone taking care of their dirty work. Second, he had worked for him since he was a child. He don't really know much about Sabbath or me what's at it. Thinking about his childhood, Obi continued, all I know is when he was a child, Amen gave him a book, Paula got an old tour, and it had been reading it since he was a child, not really knowingly, he feared it had something to do with my family, so he kept reading it repeatedly, since often. But as far as technicalities, it was either it or D, so it chose to it. It had always been a go fighter, hunter, and tracker. And fame made him a bounty hunter, an assassin. He was interrupted by Alicia, who always looking at the clock in the distance and fisting is obvious, and he believed he can make a class network come and fitter for us now. Jonathan looked at Alicia, saying, it'll be easy to see our common fitters without any monetary word reckoning it about us. Jim looked at Jonathan, ma, you're safe at last, Tim. Don't you see who found us? Pointing at Albert. They saw Waninikdu walking back towards him before they could finish their conversation. Waninikdu picked up his acidy and asked Albert, are you with us, or is this because of him a sort of hand? No one has eaten, and death discipline us. I'm with you, men of Sabbath, who are not enemies, but brothers, said Abias so his once yelling right before his ears. Jonathan interrupted, yes said, we called over fuss and trouble, when did this happen? It counted maybe 120 at the most. Albert puzzled, said, the bubble city of less curses. Fate explosion until 1500. Daniel stopped at feeling Obi looked at him and the rest of the brain looked at Yakoffer and started to ask questions. We will talk later, Hen, we must go now said Waninikdu. Obi interrupted, wait. First a common fitter among you, and this in was strong, some in will be her, one was who misled them to go elsewhere, in it now. Elijah. Waninikdu said. Please help and find that common fitter. Obi said, may it save us just a few years, in it to place this on me. Save and send it some her. Waninikdu said, you will go, with you. Waninikdu instructed Rina to prepare email with wait for the hidden plus cut some verse if you lot with Obi. Waninikdu and Obi ran to fidget said. Out of breath, Obi said, you need to set this thing to a plot to place mouse away from us. Waninikdu said, how far can you send it? Obi started pressing buttons. How about Rio? Rio de Janeiro. Waninikdu said, that's far enough. Obi finished setting the plot and fidget as it took off, heading south. Heading back to camp, Obi properly introduced himself, and Waninikdu up at his door after Obi being telling history of being his led Cynthia for Fenicates. While listening to Obi tell of his abuse, trials, and tribulations, living a life as a slave until he was trained to comfort him. Waninikdu saw this and but didn't say a word to Obi, realizing he spoke the truth. 10 men seen a door come out of nowhere behind some buses and stood in front of Waninikdu and Obi. I'm looking for the man that is the symbol, said the stranger. Taking Esther from around his neck on a chain as Waninikdu looked at Obi. Obi said, it no not of the symbol nor who you are looking for. Obi said firmly at Bolin to the man. Who are you, and what is it you want? The man said with contempt, you are Obi, a slave assassin for me father, I know of you, but you do not know me. Now, tell me of this symbol or the slave. Waninikdu was now angry about the things the man had just said to Obi because he had listened to conversation in a vision. But Obi replied, I am nobody's slave, anymore. Who is your father, and what is it you want with this man? The man smiled, my name is Nikan, and my father is Ulipas, and I love for the murder of me you must proffer, I tell him. Waninikdu recognized the name, may safe symbol which he asked about. Hanin stirred to Waninikdu, Nikan said, this ball set her, do it know it, for my fate is not with you. Waninikdu smiled, your fate is with him, for this is man a drove stir into Nikan's skull, calling him, as his body fell to the ground did. Waninikdu said, now, you have called 2 of proffers with on stir. The rest of Nikan's men attacked Obi and Waninikdu but were defeated, and Waninikdu was amazed at Obi's fighting style, and so was Obi of Waninikdu's. They quickly rushed back to camp as if nothing had happened. By the time they had reached offers, and after Waninikdu had fed his breath, he told them what had happened to them. As they discussed it, Waninikdu said, by the way, can you install some device buttons clock in the bit? Some kind of alarm so walk now when on is in trouble. Alicia replied, it had about it, but if it is possible. Lolling around, he asked John, "You see a splendid meal, both were stiff and horses." Pointing to two small poles that were standing in the lake, said, "Yes, it's safe. The camp is in the water, and now its owners can be tracked under her." When in it smelled, that sounds like a safe place. Oblak at Olsha, ya have a misconception about this senator. The trees in this parts are not thick enough. Although water is a good idea, we may not be deep enough. However, it is a good idea. It will help you understand a lot of things it knows. Travel to differ, but for now, you need to cover it with mood. When Enoch blocked at grace, will you lose the honor? Abba looked in amazement. How? How is that possible? They said, "We will tell you later." Rain settled into cub, ate it, and went in for the night. When Enoch us grace, you know you returned, but you need you to run about 100 miles south and return, to sing a few tracks. Grace left, and when Enoch was about to speak when Rich returned in seconds, down. When Enoch was off his head, "It's been a long and a busy day," at Ted. "Well, sleeping for a little longer and get plenty of rest. We'll then have a half-day journey to Silver City." I'll be waiting until when Enoch was finished talking and asked, pointing at Grace, "You mean to tell me she ran 100 miles and back in a few seconds?" When Enoch said, "And destined our footprints, Seba for Seba, we shall talk later. For now, we're altered and must get some rest." When Enoch walked into the camp, looking at the fish above him with his flashlight, saying to himself, "At last, Bubble, this is just beautiful." Virgin was sound asleep, and a blood third confessed as he asked himself, "Have been a slave all my life, killing for a puppy hate. Killing me how? How am I supposed to live my life now? Wait, who was that boss calling me a great warrior of Sabaoth?" Questions filled his head, and for the first time in his life, he felt a tear fall from his eye. Craning himself to sleep, he whispered, "Sabaoth, help me." Not a word had fallen asleep. Abba had a logic plus in fit out him, surrounded by carnage. Woman cried for help as he reached out to him. An Amharic explosion right in front of him where the eye-lapping critters were trying to capture him. An Amharic explosion in the north. There was a cloud of smoke ahead of him. A man's figure walked towards him out of the cloud of smoke. The man smiled at him and handed him a book. He reached up for it. Was the same man who had given him the tour long ago, but it was as it looked to the older John, saying, "Ob, a great warrior of Sabaoth." Like just pen masses, you had to live him and steer captors to understand him, with retain comes a glorious reward. When in it even the people you are with is where you belong. Sabaoth has long looked after you to bring you her. This is your family now, and this is your home. Obi woke up and started crying, seeing everyone around him was still asleep. He whispered, "Thank you, Sabaoth." Obadiah is yet sit waking up when in it. I think his visit move into your destination. He had to think, as if he was hunting, he will search and found out it was not plotted while begun into its last location. It's around Wulatam, you still have 5 to 6 hours of darkness, and we can move into its light. When Enoch said, "Ye agree." Walking the pavilion, when Enoch said, "It's been a chained up plan, and Abba has made me aware that it's best to move into our destination in Silver City. Let's us the cover of darkness to get as far as possible. So, let's pack up and get out of here as soon as possible." Quickly, everyone packed up everything and was asleep. "You need a horse," said Ob. "Remember me just sit is in rail." Jonathan said, "Here, with the men." And then he turned and asked Jay, "May you read with you?" Smelling, she read, saying, "You're making this a habit." Jonathan smelled, "You know." Jay jokingly, "May I?" "Where are you, me brother?" And everyone started blushing. Jonathan embraced, picked a horse, and started racing toward Silver City, followed by the rest right before daybreak. They had slowed down, for they had finally made it to the outskirts of the town. "There are plenty of trees we can see as cover located 2 miles south of us," said Osa. When Enoch said, "That is where we shall go." Heading toward the tree line, when Enoch observed the tree line, looking for movement of numbers. Looking up, he sees an bill throttling down from the skis. "MP." When Enoch said, not knowing what was being said, thought, it is coming straight down from the fiddle fest. We need to back up and fast. Brian backed up a bit, and it slammed into the ground, sending dirt and debris everywhere. After the dist settled, an enormous door, 50 feet in height, stood in front of them. They were slowly opening, and standing 34 horses. They looked at. Yeah, chauffeur. When Inikin said, you don't sense any danger. He seen his horse go on as he entered the doors, soon followed by Forrest. A stranger standing near a table said to him, welcome. Sabbath has sent that you are weary and is no given yours come. Relative then for no us has ever entered Heaven's gate. But you must not pass the tree lane, for you will surely. Sabbath has made this place just for you. Brian was in now and slowly got off their horses. Please sit and dine, for it no very are many questions among you. First stood a very long table with a feast of fearful foes. Brian sat down and enjoyed himself as he spoke to the man. Daniel, being pianist, asked the man, so, how are you? The man smiled. The human you cannot pronounce my name. But I'm known as Museka. When Enoch went up, quickly knowing who he was by name, stupid eating it bowed. No, Museka said. Please arise. Seeing her. Reactions of when Enoch went up, Daniel looked at when Enoch and asked, who is Museka? When Enoch said, we never did have foreign figure. As the son of Sabbath who came to earth to see who were having problems obeying him, so he came down as flesh like his, to see and feel sin. Has the attorney, our Redeemer? Daniel asked, what is sin? Museka said to Daniel, sin is thus a things that Sabbath hates. Like pride, lust, greed, and very are many, many more. Unlike man, everything is sin but they compare sin by their own definition, not Sabbath. Yelp not him son, for you will become a great prophet for Sabbath like in the days of his day, for his spirit dwells within you. Hetron told sisters, grace, mercy, and joy, have named of his names because you are dear to me here. Then he turned to Jimmy and Jonathan. Two brothers to remain of the two brothers who were my disciples James and John. Pointing at Elijah and Elisha, also the same spirit of woman named you. Tears flowed from his eyes, ye bring me great joy, for you have obeyed the word of Sabbath, and you'll make a great and mighty forth of world can stand. Stood up and said, behold, obey, your gift from Sabbath shall be given, and no man will believe it, and when in a cunning wandering spirit, a faithful servant of Sabbath. He took a seat and continued, it is an honor to be here, let us then interfere and enjoy in another's company, for it is Sabbath's worth it would also. Virginity and talked, louder and Jeff felt. When Enoch was Museka, he had a vision for the ancient facility of Thames, come the fact of it was in insane clothing. However, she was in at Enoch now not of, she called herself, Aklamot. Who is she? Has smelled, yes, Aklamot. She's a prophetess, a good of Tibland, and the voice of Sabbath. She will do it here great grandson, Cush, to least the singing, as she has done for you and still before you. Her words make me smell, her spirit brings me joy. Truth springs out of her mouth like a well, and she will bring down sermons with her voice. He passed for a moment, lost into her words because he's not viewed him. Many things you will not understand, but your grandson will. It is what turns his heart to Sabbath. Out of nowhere, a lady about 6 feet tall wearing ancient freaking Native American clothing was speaking. It was as if he were for themselves, sitting in attendance. Privatization of persons allows for commercial in the system and so opinion to highest bidders. Contracts are no given to both persons till they must. Lucrative building contractors. With then. Selection of plots to both the persons or to core persons already bought and modification. Off. Cars, software but the primary in because more work dealing sold her, and the chance of keeping the person circulating rate high with work dealings and minority persons are grades her. Fenfell got of urban areas that also boast of having a large minority population rate in high crime areas. Rural areas and software now being served and maintained by revenues generated from personal labor and government loans and subsidies. Slavery is now legally reborn under a different name. But to the depression, private persons are losing revenue because of abandonment by terrorial investor, backers who are no longer making money of bodies and cells, as they did and are now getting out of business. Fes leaves the operators of Fes live centers with a cash flow problem. So, they are sent to states to get more money. Fes will lead, of course, to eventually allows rewriting the conviction of prisoners and the release of fossil active. What then? Yeah, we'll start seeing more crime dramas and movies designed to condition men to accept that we are all potential criminals will have to brought over by an already rock work best and more ricas than and remains for less leniency even for first-time offenders and children. As we have seen recently, Julius Santo prison was all pissed down forever for malicious and kickbacks. Daniel didn't fully understand, but listened anyway as Mr. Toronto. Yeah, well understand and agree into it him, just listen, Mason. As she continued. This is not about justice, not even classical justice. It is about profits to exploit a lot of labor of fearful humans, even in specialists who may not be giant criminals but simply made back costs that work themselves more offers. This is the majority of your offenders. Sabat will have to intervene here, for humanity is no longer capable. William offered justice, law and order, and paid for respect for others' right to exist. Justice doesn't always come in the courtrooms of this land from us who we are informed or baddies or robbers. Sometimes it comes from everyday heroes and ordinary citizens who remember their brother's keeper. Sometimes it comes from us who realize that justice and law are not always on the same side. And sometimes injustice happen in the centers of law by the hands of foes. Law are supposed to represent both. The innocent often gets convicted. And the guilty sometimes go free. Profit money and profit is often driven for general criminal justice systems to dozens of cases where innocent people are known or found to be innocent when they are locked up, yet are forced to go for tons of retap before they are set free. If prosecutors were essential to set the innocent free as they are to lock brutally, well did it stem until the system's fairness. But often, the process is more important to defend people they invented to protect. We seem to, in our society, have forgotten that because something is allowed doesn't make it right. The trans-African slave trade and slavery was allowed, it was never moral, just, or right. Because something is, doesn't mean it's odd. Because something is a fact doesn't make it a true. That is when what we create becomes greater than ourselves. We're setting ourselves up for chess. Farmers of the Constitution said, that laws are only to be maintained when they just represent the will and interests of the people. But the laws are never greater than the will of the people, they were created to protect. Nor are the people elected or hired to represent these laws. The voice of the lady fade out. Michigan said to when in Ikdu, your descendants heard her voice, and the spirit of Sabbath held their souls. But as a man became able during his time, he separated a man from woman, and children separated from their parents. Respectively, and many called each other for no reason. Women were given prizes for leaving their husbands, and so on after. Women said they didn't need men. And the child was taken from their father and given over to the state to be resist rebellious people. But their body was found crying in the wilderness. Christ was in tears. We have Seba follow self-cruelty to happen to his people. They have forsaken him and chosen over, like sharing with, Meshach said. Only a handful were saved and returned to their first love, but they had to be punished for living in the first place, from the fear, formal fear profits. But be of good cheer, because of their obedience, you are blessed. Silence had covered the room, and he finished his meal and said, enough for now, please eat and rest, for you must be away tomorrow. They all talked amongst themselves all day, and Obi took a walk. Walking past the tree line. When Inikibu saw him and walked up to him. Obi turned and saw when Inikibu, smiling, they would be happy when he walked thus golden streets with no more pain, no more sorrow, and no more tears. When Inikibu said, yes, just to be so close Jevis Michelos. Obi turned to when Inikibu, well, let's make Seba proud of us, and do his will. When Inikibu and Obi returned to the tables and continued talking about their situation in the working face of a day until they finally fell asleep. They heard a voice, Risi and prepared to be in your way. Was Moise? Obi bowed. Moise looked at Obi. No, my friend, Risi and Jill Sabat honor. When Inikibu looked at Obi. And Obi whispered, that's the old man that gave him a future health as a year ago. Moise continued, our week has passed since he left. thus will seek your Londonian lost to your whereabouts. Prepare to leave and stay at your location for a week, in which Timothy must perform a Hygienian receive your gift. Jay whispered to Jonathan. We'll worry and live forever, Nate. How has a week passed? Moise turned and smiled at Joe, Tim Dawson's sister. The Larry door reopened, standing by the door as it opens the Maseka. With a big smile, farewell Tim's where you shall need me help. And another point will you be able to receive the full power of Sabbath. Just say, in Shaka's name, and shall defeat your enemies before you. Moise grabbed Jonathan by the hands. Sabbath is pleased to see you love for an offer and has blessed it. He turned to Waninikdo, and has given Waninik the power to marry you too. Joe blushed, and Jonathan smiled in embarrassment. They all were happy for that was he walked out toward the doorway. When they all had passed the doorway's entrance, it disappeared. They were in front of the tree line as if they had just come out of the forest. So, they turned around, headed into the tree line, and vanished into the woods. Waninik said, "I will marry you too, after a week, after Abooksigun. Looking at Ob, you must perform your holy genius will starting tomorrow morning." The rest his but further into here. Tell else, ya may gen or those you feel fate. And they all agreed to to differ with Ob the next day. Alyssa and Jonathan bought in some of their equipment for Saturday while Elijah, Waninik, Daniel, and Joan went hunting, and the first sisters discussed the wedding. Ob laid into ground thinking about with had just happened and drifted off to sleep. For the first time in his life, he felt peace, he felt serenity, and it was a feeling he never wanted to end. Lighter awakened him. The men had returned, and they all were sitting around talking. "Sorry to wake me out, Obi. We were just telling stories of our past, while you let to join in," said John. Obi replied, "I didn't know anything from me past, but he was born." Pulling up his shirt and revealing his shoulder. "With this mark on me." When Enoch looked at the markings and said, "That the Seminole strip markings, but I'm not aware of your clan." In Native American history, many will mark their children with their tribe and clan after and will call them with certain reason if he was a boy. Pulling up his shirt sleeve. Faces me tribe and clan. The Seminoles are mostly in Florida, but if they were scattered around there, if Oklahoma has a large population and a long history of them as well. I'm familiar with John Horse and the Black Seminoles. They created the largest haven into South for runaway slaves during the 1800s. The largest slave revolt in U.S. history, securing the emancipation of rebellious slaves before his Civil War. They formed the largest mass exodus of slaves across the United States and, ultimately, to Mexico. It amazed Obi at when Enoch was telling him, "How do you know all this?" When Enoch proudly said, "They tried to say if our history had just history parade back at home. What no very little about technology but plenty about history." The elders spoke most of all of history into past, because we didn't read or write, it was lost. So now everything is void and better as if history has been lost forever since the European invasion. They talked all day and finally fell asleep, with all security measures intact.